In trouble, in trouble, in trouble again. Oh, hi there, this is me, Daniel East 1000, back again with another Star Wars The Black Series figure review. Today we're going to be having a look at the 50th anniversary of Lucasfilm exclusive, sort of due out last year but got delayed because of the things in the world going on. But now we finally have it available to purchase, at least some of us are. So we're going to be having a look at Star Wars Droids Boba Fett. Because of the sort of delay on this, I feel like this, along with the vintage collection figures that are released of C-3PO, R2-D2 and Boba Fett, these were to not only commemorate Droids, the TV series, but also to celebrate the fact that Disney Plus put all the episodes on. For those of you who don't know, Droids came out along with a TV series called Ewoks. These were Saturday morning cartoons. Came out pretty much at the back end of the films and cashing in on their commercial success. However, for some reason Hasbro haven't really commemorated Ewoks, and it would have been a perfect opportunity for them to do that because they could have done Wicket, but nonetheless, might get to that in a bit. Naturally, Ewoks and Droids had a toy line featuring new sculpts. From what I've heard, they weren't available in the UK, mostly internationally, but the shows did air over here in some capacity. And well, that's what this figure really commemorates. A short-lived show and a toy line for a brand that at the time was kind of dwindling in popularity. But nonetheless, it was one of the many things that was keeping Star Wars alive at the time. As always, we're going to take a look at the packaging, then the figure itself. So as we can see here, we've got this very sort of retro look. I kind of like this packaging. It has a very VHS style. You've got the Droids logo at the top there, Adventures of R2-D2 and C-3PO. Picture of the character Boba Fett, C-3PO and R2-D2 just poking the heads out there. Interesting thing to note, Boba Fett only appears in one episode in the entire run of the Droids TV series, in an episode called Race to the Finish.
No one escapes me. I have someone on the job. Just remember.
Boba Fett.
So while vintage collection collectors got R2-D2 and C-3PO, the characters of which the show is based around, us Black Series collectors just get a stylised Boba Fett. Nonetheless, it's a colour scheme I like. Let's continue on with the packaging, shall we? 50th anniversary of Lucasfilm, Boba Fett at the bottom there. Warning, choking hazard, small parts, legalese. On the side, you've got a lovely picture of Boba Fett there. On the side, Star Wars Droids. As it is one of these exclusive figures, it does feature the opening window packaging, of which I'm sure most collectors are going to want to keep this figure carded, but I'm not like most collectors, and I will be opening it. So we've got the figure in the box there, window packaging where the figure sits, so you can see the accessories and what you're being Boba Fett taxed on. Boba Fett at the top there, and a bio on the character as well, and a picture of C-3PO and R2-D2 being pursued by Boba Fett and the Chongus Vlix. On the back, you've got a picture of that again, 50th anniversary of Lucasfilm, and the timeline there of Star Wars media and content. Interestingly enough, and I don't want to be that guy, but they've got Droids listed as 1983. It was actually 1985, so it's a minor thing. What's 2 years? Ton of legalese at the bottom, and well, that's the packaging out the way and done with. Let's take a look at the figure itself. First things first, just to get it out of the way, this is not a new figure. It's complete reuse, and that is the same with the vintage collection C-3PO, R2-D2, Boba Fett. All repaints. This one is of the Wave 2 Black Series Boba Fett, of which came out donkeys years ago. We've had an update since then. They could have used that sculpt for this. I don't know why they chose to use an old sculpt. They do seem to revert back to this one for Boba Fett figures. I'm not too sure why, particularly given the Droids vintage collection Boba Fett uses the new updated Boba Fett sculpt from that scale. No clue why they couldn't do it for this one. Ants on a postcard. We've got an older sculpt. I should hate it. I should be really annoyed about it, but I'm not. I'm fine with it. But this is nice. I do like this quite a bit. Not a big fan of the price point, however, given that it is a repaint. Once again, that Boba Fett tax do be taxing. This was pushing the £30 mark, which is a very hard pill to swallow. So let's just get into him. I've got him in a very splayed out pose. I remember that, I think it was Kota Bakia did a animated style Boba Fett, and he has this really cool stance like this, like flames and stuff. It looks awesome. I'd always love to have that statue if I ever did have the pennies and pounds for it. But this is why I've got him in this pose, because it kind of looks like that. And yeah, it's a budget version, I suppose, even though this was a bit spenny. But oh boy, I love the colours. When you do Boba Fett in this colour scheme, Jekyll and Hyde it annoys me because Hasbro shouldn't get away with it. They shouldn't get away with this. They should use the new sculpt, but no. Whenever they do this colour scheme, it just tickles me for some reason. Scratches that weird itch, that baby blue with that putrid mustardy yellow. It's just so retro and so ghastly that it just works. What I would have loved to have seen, and I know that this is based on the Droids cartoon, but if they included the Amber blaster rifle, or the similar sort of blaster rifle to that he has in the animated debut sequence, that would have been really cool. No doubt Hasbro will probably do that one, include that, essentially this same figure. I've given them an idea there. Well done, Dan. An older sculpt, but it still checks out. Just the detailing and the colour scheme on this thing really does just swing. It certainly has less features than the deluxe Boba Fett that we've received recently. Review up there somewhere if you want to check that out. So if we just have a little closer look in, you've got the helmet. The visor doesn't move. It's literally a solid piece stuck in place onto the helmet, of which is a little bit unfortunate, but that is with the sculpt of the original figure. You've got the Wookiee braids there, the pouches, the crotch piece, pouches on the legs, and the knee pads, and then those baby blue boots with the spikes on. They've not really been picked out with any detailing, which is a shame, but that's not too bad, it's not really a problem. And on the back you've got this soft goods cape, which has these hard pieces here, so it's not really easy to pose it. It just makes it sit a bit nicer, I suppose. Silver detailing on the gauntlets. Not really a hell of a lot of additional paint detailing going on with this guy. You've got the jetpack, which is quite bulky and does sit by a peg, which is quite snug in that peg hole, and you can remove that. So that's one of the accessories that Hasbro will have you believe is an accessory. So yeah, that just plugs in the back there. He comes with his iconic blaster rifle, of which, to be fair, when you look at the packaging and the animated styling of the blaster, because that again is reuse. The blaster on the box or in the artwork does look a little bit more smaller than that, and it would have been nice to see Hasbro incorporate a bit more of a dinkiness to it. I mean, maybe they could have used the new Boba Fett blaster, just because that is a little bit smaller than this. Alas, they didn't. We've just got this one, and there's no real paint on that, of which should annoy me, because again it's a little bit of a corner cut, but because it's animated, or at least because it's in the animated styling, I can forgive them. Damn you, Hasbro. Then, if you look on the side here, you've got this holster, of which holds his little tiny blaster pistol. You can take that out, and you can hold it in his other hand. Forgot about this on the original. The trigger finger's actually, you know, not moulded like we have with most of the figures that we get now. So, it actually has a loose trigger finger. So you can hold it in that hand. So you can dual wield, which is quite fun. And that's it in terms of accessories. Just something really quite innocent about this Boba that I find really fascinating. If we have a look at articulation, he has a ball jointed head on a ball hinge, ball jointed shoulders, ball jointed elbows, swivels at the tops of the forearms near where the gauntlet is, ball jointed wrists, ball jointed torso, ball jointed hips, swivels at the tops of the thighs, double hinged knees, ball jointed ankles with the rocker joints. So you can get this guy in some pretty damn dynamic poses. The only thing that's kind of annoying with a lot of the older Black Series figures, there's a tiny bit of splayedness in the legs, just because that middle part between the crotch, you know, is quite thick and it doesn't let you quite sit them, so there is a tiny bit of splayedness. Boba Fett's not too bad, but some of the other figures can be. You might be a bit limited with how you pose him with the big blaster, just due to the arms not being able to bend fully. Overall, I really like this figure. I love the colour scheme and just how different it is. And it would be really cool to see some other sort of animated characters get made at some point, though I'm highly doubtful, just because of how obscure Droids really is, to be honest, at least outside of the diehards of the fandom. That's Boba Fett in his Droids animated TV series look. I should be really frustrated with Hasbro. Reuse with this and also the vintage collection figures, added with a previous point I made earlier, the fact that we didn't get anything celebrating Ewoks. I think it would have been cool if rather than getting this, we could have got a Wicket in Black Series, a new sculpt, and that be his debut release from his own TV show. But instead we got Boba Fett, who appears in one episode in a TV series that's not really about him at all. It's just kind of bizarre to me. But again, that would have been a completely new figure, and this is just easier for Hasbro to do in terms of reuse. Hasbro wins. I like it. I like the colour scheme. They always win me over with this. But I do think this sculpt does work for this colour scheme, just because it's not as realistic as the one that we've now got per se. So it works. It works for this. Damn you, Hasbro. That's my review. That's my thoughts. I hope you enjoyed having a look at this guy, and let me know what you guys think. Have you picked this guy up? Haven't you bothered? Sound off in the comments down below. And this is me, Daniel Lee 1000, sign out, and thank you very much for watching.
Your meddling has cost me my droid, my speeder, and almost my neck kick from.
It was all his idea to try and...
Let's go. I'm turning you over to Jabba the Hutt for the reward. No!